quest, even if he has the 50%.
No, well, I don't have him. But anyway, gotta love reviewing units.
What a shame.
We are online now, so let me just start some music.
Link, please.
Alright. Hello, everyone. I have not done this in a while. If I sound a bit awkward, forgive me.
Link, please.
Oh no! I forgot the notes for preparation. Give me a second, guys.
What?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to give you guys the notes and whatever. I also forgot to make a notice on my server that the discussion is now. Alright, you guys go talk about something to distract everyone while I'm preparing this.
Lovely.
It's Christmas.
So it is. Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Fucking
happy
Christmas.
holidays, everyone.
Lovely.
There's some pretty good units here, and there's also Choji in there.
Sounds about right. Use the Ranger instead of Choji. You'll get more mileage, I'm sure.
Ranger, disgusting. Who'd even use? Oh no, the Ranger is actually pretty right.
Ranger.
I thought you meant the Trooper. The
Nah.
Trooper is the one who's complete shit.
No, the Trooper's pretty poop. Bloody 45% chance basically for paralysis.
I think it's probably one of the worst mobs that has released in a few years.
Well, at least he looks cool. Let's speak a bit reverently for Eric to say, may he rest his soul. Anyway. Yeah, alright, I sent you guys the link. You got it?
Only to the chat. I need the notes too. How do I?
The notes? Oh, you mean the video?
No, I need.
It's in the channel. Sorry, guys. So everyone's ready now, right?
Yeah, sure. As soon as the stream fucking loads on my end.
Okay, welcome everybody. We will be discussing the Christmas units. Oh wait, let me just restart the Christmas music before it disappears. Because like we spent the first 2 minutes doing nothing. Alright. Alright.
Why are all of our faces obscured now?
It's always been like that.
Has it?
Yes. Okay.
Oh god.
Hello everyone, today we will be discussing the new Christmas units for the Sunshine Christmas event. We'll also be discussing a bit of some past content from the 4th Housamo anniversary, which is the ARs, 3 of them have been released. And we'll also be talking about some other content that are remaining over from Chapter 10, a couple of new mobs, as well as
Was 11.
Chapter 11, whatever, it's the same difference, and a couple of skill evolutions that like consist of a volume of their own for whatever reason. But yeah, joining me today, please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Irby. You can check the link for my channel in the description of this video.
I am Zalgus. You'll be seeing my videos a lot more, probably because of the challenges for this event.
Oh right, I forgot we had those.
I'm excited for them too. Wait, good thing I...
Irrelevant.
I'm keeping my expectations low for the quests.
Why?
I hope
I'm
they
just
don't.
gonna use like an overpowered support anyways.
I hope they're not going to make the quests like comically easy.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen actually.
It's gonna make things easier for me in terms of team building, because now I can just brain dead, just follow the challenges and make a video out of that. Anyway, let us begin and not keep you guys
No,
waiting.
that's my thing.
What? What
No,
is it?
that's my thing. I do the challenges around here.
Well, too bad. It's my time to shine. Anyway,
Everyone will enter your niche. Pensive.
everyone
Well,
wants to enter Zalgus'
I'll use a 3-star support.
Sure.
Oh,
That sounds extremely unnecessary, but sure. And anyway, we will start off with talking about all of the ARs from the anniversary. And then we'll continue off with the rest of the non-Christmas content before starting with the Christmas content. See, this is how we bait you. We talk about the stuff that no one cares about first, and then we talk about things people keep for later. So, combination of friendships. Essentially, it increases the ally points for your award. If the quest does not drop any ally points, then it also does not increase that because it is percent-based increased. So, yeah, there's no point in bringing this card to dungeons. unless you want the second part of it, which is friendship strengthening. And you would want to take advantage of friendship strengthening with any damage dealer like that actually synergizes well with the unit who you decide to move them aside. So I definitely did not look up every unit, even though I probably should have. But it's Christmas, so give me a break. So Kotaro and Goemon, that is my recommendation, and my only recommendation. You can do the research for the rest yourself.
What is the value of friendship strengthening?
1.5.
Isn't it just 1.5? It's nourishment.
Just saying that for clarity.
Yeah, 1.5 is decent, honestly, for like an AR that has a potentially a widespread of effects.
It also triggers after buff effects.
Oh, right.
Oh, it's cool.
After buff, yeah, it does. It can be a cup for everyone. So if you want that by itself, sure.
I don't know why they buffed the strongest relationship effect.
Because people actually use it. I don't know. Well, it's a sign that they might buff the other effects later. Maybe. Unlikely, but maybe.
It's a good incentive to play around friendships.
Yeah, okay, there's not too much to say about this. Let's not link around. Unless you guys have any specific friendships to play around. Dude.
Ours?
That's right. A move Leak beside Chino and Chino beside Triton. And Triton beside Leak. The ultimate friendship strengthening synergy there. Okay, moving on. Let me just say my hellos too. Hello, Gail. Hello, Rowan, David. Hello, Nomi. Hello, Lulu. Hello. Very ceremonial. It's just in this place of education. So there is two effects it does. It increases the battle EXP you get, and it increases the rank EXP. So normally, the card that increased rank EXP before, it's like you would never bring it to dungeons because dungeons don't actually increase your EXP. I mean, I guess you could bring it for a stat boost. Whereas with the other effect, additional EXP, or battle EXP, you kind of like only bring that for dungeons. So as a result, this card, you pretty much always want to bring it no matter what the context is, whether it's dungeons or non-dungeons. The reward will always be good for you. And if you want more details of how to optimize for battle EXP, there is always a dungeon sheet in the description, which I have updated for the new levels as well as this new AR. So go ahead and check that out if you are a super min-maxer like I am. Alright, any passing remarks on this?
Raga has a really round head, or a square head.
As you should.
It's cute.
Yeah, they're cute. I like them. Back off haters. Anyways, next one. Heading for treasure everywhere, AR. The one with Alberic and Anvari. You will want to bring this for coin scuffles, obviously, because it increases your coin bonus. Not just coin scuffles, but also coin dungeons, and maybe some free quests that also drop some coins if you want to grind those out too. And the other effect of one leaving curse, honestly, like, curse is just a generally outright debuff, so bring it whenever you have a unit that who you're intending to remove from battle in the first place. So units like Barghest, who bestows guts and HP when he leaves, or Marduk, who does a whole bunch of things when he leaves, as Salgus discussed last time. Any units like that. Alright.
I actually didn't know it had that effect. I only focused on the coin effect.
Okay. Well, you might want to consider that if you ever decide to use Marduk for your clears.
Well, I also might just use it anyway because it's 100% rate, and I usually get my units killed because they suck.
Well, it's 100% if you max it. Make sure you max it. Make sure you max all these ARs. The first one with the anniversary one, and so that's automatically maxed. But the other two, yeah, make sure you save some fragments to max them both. They're both worth it. Yes, the belly AR, very, very special. Although their faces are a bit too cartoonized for my liking. Anyway, we shall move on to the next set of non-Christmas content, and that is the mobs. Salgus, feel.
Okay, as soon as the bloody screen changes for me. Why is the delay so long? Anyway, so are we doing ranger or we're doing range first, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we should start with trooper actually, but
I mean, if you can, if you want. All right.
Rangers, we only have like 2 available of them, anyways. The
Okay.
Yeah, we only have Valiant and World Ranger.
All right, you may start
Oh,
with
I-
Trooper then. It is switched over.
Okay, good. Because Troopers kind of poopy. So Troopers are the robots from. I think we first saw them in Chapter 9, and we finally have access to them. Unfortunately, they're really not that great. So their main purpose is to do paralysis, but they can only do that when missing. And because they're already short range, they have to change to weapon slash, or weapon change to slash on turn start. So they have to pass the 60% check for weapon change to do the paralysis, which itself has a 76% chance. So, and that's pretty much the only thing they can really do.
He did the calculation for the overall rate.
If I know how to multiply odds, then it's about 0.46. So 46% chance to pass both.
I mean, it's
What
not
are you
really.
doing?
It's alright if you don't have Lucifuge for a reason. You don't want to actually hit them.
I think it's pretty bad.
It's
Never
really bad.
use it.
There are there's a ton of other people who can do paralysis at much more reliable rates.
Yeah, you can just use Valor and Lucifuge.
Yeah, Lucifuge does it at about a 50% rate, and he can also curse and poison, and also do damage doing it, for what it's worth, even though his damage isn't that great, because he can hit stuff with it. He doesn't have to miss, unlike the Troopers. And I'm willing to bet he has better stats just because he's higher level. And then Balor 3 can do it at 50%, and also Stigma, and is also a more effective tank because he has more defense buffs at a better rate.
Alright, if you don't have Valor, which, it is likely to happen, and if you don't have Lucifuge, then this is actually one of your better paralysis options. But,
that's
like
still
the only thing you do use it for.
I mean, you could, if you wanted a pseudo paralysis effect, you could just use Shiro instead, who can fear and curse.
Fear has never been an issue with getting, but paralysis has always been a bit scarcer. Valor has been nice to have as a result. But, Trooper just broadening the pool a bit in terms of paralysis that isn't impossible to get off.
Yeah, really the problem is just the weapon slash. What kind of thought today? Weapon change slash. It's just because he has to pass that effect. He can't. It also means he can't. He can't do it at melee range, because he has to miss. So.
Wait, what do you mean technical difficulties, Arby? Are you able to listen? Arby?
I just suddenly...
Arby!
No.
Before we started the stream, Arby was having some specific issues with the setup of being able to be audible on either side. I didn't realize. Arby, no, come back to us. Because your section is this. Well, we can hear you now, so that's good.
No, we still have.
Good. It's just my laptop crashed again.
No.
I don't know for that.
Nice. Okay, well, CS real quick. He can actually get some pretty good damage, but you need high level SA, which is not out of the question because he's a mob. But at SA level 1, it's pretty trash. It is at SA level 1, the Trooper will deal 3,832 damage. At SA 100, it's 15,328. So I guess there's that too. But
Yeah, it could work out.
he's really only useful as a paralysis bot. But if you have Balor 3 or Lucifuge,
yeah,
3 or more,
let's not circle as we get it. We do not want to linger on these beings too long.
Okay.
All right.
Moving
on.
backwards then.
All right.
Yes. So Ranger is Bugmen. We finally have our Bugsamo besides Kagutsuchi. They're actually pretty good. So they can change between long slash and snipe on demand. They just have to miss, and it's at a nice 100% rate, so always reliable. And they also apply combo on miss at nice 90%, so they can take advantage of the snipe range right away. Their main use is to CP drain in those wide ass ranges. They can do long flash or snipe range drain, so they can do it in at a safe range as well with snipe. They deal kind of okay damage. Honestly, not really, because they have a meh attack stat and only concentration.
Yeah, that's the only real case you'd want to use them is just for the CP drain.
Yeah, they also have Fatal Poison, but the only one who really benefits from that is Strata Starte and Shannon, but you're not really that.
I honestly thought
you honestly thought that was
the attack stat was actually pretty okay for a mob.
Yeah, it's okay for a mob, but the problem is the attack ranges mean
true.
With Fatal Poison it's only 2064, with Concentration it's 4534. With when he snipe range it's a bit lower damage, I think. Maybe I calculated that wrong, but either way it's not.
Yeah, nothing to write home about.
He also has Nullify buff on CS and a bigger CP drain, which is cool.
Yeah, there's no way he can build his charge anyway, so...
I mean, it could happen. We have plenty of CP merit. Anyway, so Ranger's got big, fat, reliable, long range CP drains. The only other mobs who can CP drain are Mermaid, Shiramentep, who have
all the mono mobs were kind of crap with CP draining except for Shiramentep. But that's like for 2 turns only or something.
Mermaid is low rate at 40%. Shiramentep is only for 2 turns.
Yeah, this unit would
weapon change, and Giant and Wrestlers are low, so it doesn't matter.
This unit would have been a blessing for the Bale challenge quest last year, if people were trying out all mob runs, and I tried it at first, but then I realized Mermaid's CP drain rate is shit, so I gave up on that idea and decided to just run an arc with a couple of slimes. But yeah.
Astaroth already inflicts Fatal Poison. Never mind. That doesn't work then. I guess it's only for themselves then. So yeah, take this mob if you want CP draining at big reliable ranges. It is pretty good for that. One of the better mobs in my opinion.
Okay, any other thoughts?
Housamo.
Irby.
At least we got the best one.
I guess. So actually, I forgot to read the comments for myself, but why don't you go ahead and read the comments super quickly? Because there's probably nothing substantial with these non-Christmas units.
All of them?
Yeah.
Where were we?
I don't know. Go ahead. There's not so much comments.
Super buff, hello there, belly fight, both of them fighting.
Make sure you're audible as you read them out loud.
Oh, wake me up. Yes, he comes. Chapter 9, yes, because they recognize them. Yeah, the troopers. Funny how being robots, they can't do much and change the slash whenever they want. When they want is...
Must be an old model.
Or they change the long slash. Honestly, if they change the long slash, it would actually be worse because it would be harder to paralyze. Because, you'd have more chance of hitting stuff.
Yeah, it's easy to miss with long slash.
I was about to suggest Astaroth, but yeah, Astaroth already poisons or fatal poisons, so that there's no synergy there. CP drain, now you don't need Arc for the CP drain.
I mean, Arc is guaranteed still. This is just that 80%.
Yeah, so. Arc still has other things like Stigma and the pull. Well, the pull might not actually be useful, but you could use Ranger if you wanted snipe range drain without pull. World bug, best bug. Need to submit another ticket about Fatal Poison. What about Fatal Poison?
It doesn't deal extra damage.
Seriously?
Yes, it doesn't show up, so it doesn't deal. It doesn't work with the extra stacks. It should deal 1.6 times damage to.
Right.
I mean,
Ranger.
They keep on forgetting to cut that in.
Ranger
yes,
power.
they did that with the burn as well on dead, but we can't test that. Unfortunately.
Maybe Ranger can get good damage then, just pair him with Virtual Summary Channel.
That'd be kind of a meme at that point.
You'd wipe them out anyway before that happened.
Okay, anyway, we lingered on for this too long. It's all well and good to give an analysis, but realistically, we're probably not going to use this unit. Unless those challenge quests really call for them with the limited whatever thingy. Alright, so we will now pass it on to Irby, who will be discussing the Evos for Kingo. Irby, you still there with us?
I am still here with basically with the end of chapter 11 and some very spoilery developments of it. Kingo got two skill evolutions, one for all his cards, and another one specific to his 5-star.
Don't spoil me.
The general one for all his cards is Infinite Challenger ++. Basically, the only thing that changed is that now every turn after the first one of every phase, he has a 70% chance of getting Infinitude and 800 HP. That's it. Now he has a renewable source of Infinitude, and can recover some extra health that he lost from the loss of health that Infinitude does at the end of the turn, which is honestly pretty minimal, but it's pretty okay. We finally have a renewable source of Infinitude, which Aegir can politely steal from, which is always something nice. And that's pretty much it. Not Kengo's gonna have a lot more reliable damage outside just the first turn, having that Infinitude and crit. Now he can
this is a very nice buff to Christmas Aegir, as we all know.
Yes.
Is this a Tetsuya buff?
And it's even a better Aegir buff because with the 5-star, because the 5-star also gets movement expansion.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So Aegir can also steal it and get it for himself, which is also always pretty nice. He gets it at 100% too, which is pretty neat. They also increase the percent chance of CP bestow on hit, which is okay. It was abysmally low, but they increased it to 50%, which is still pretty low. But
I think it's just to focus on the fact that he's a much better support now, as well as a damage dealer himself. In addition to that,
unit then he is a much better support unit now than it was before. It was kind of like a very selfish unit, just
with an occasional crit, but now it's he can actually ferry everyone in place and do crit and still CP reliability. So he's not just any kind of support; he's an offensive support.
Yeah. And he also has this 80% of after attacking, inflicting weakness to the enemies he hits, which is thrust range, and 2 squares to the left and right. That's if he's in the center, that's practically almost the whole board except for the upper row, which is honestly a pretty good range for weakness. He can't benefit from it because it's after attacking, of course, but it's still pretty good for Christmas Aegir.
And of course, with that weakness comes another recommendation to bring 8 to 4. Because you must to take advantage of that 4 times with weakness advantage. So,
of course, how could I forget?
I must remind everyone. Anyway,
Kengo was pretty.
Yeah, they finally saw. I remember the days when people considered him the worst summer unit to bring, but
now it's just Toji.
Yeah, he's quite good now. If anything, it's Toji that needs an Evo. Poor Toji.
Yeah. He has block, which is a good meme.
Yes. Okay, so I think that ends all our thoughts for this, unless Zalgos, you had anything to add on this?
Tetsuya got a buff.
I guess he did. I'll just consider it a lore-based buff that has no relevance to his usual gameplay.
What's with the Pog?
Don't question it. That's just how he always looks, don't you know?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, we can now move on to the content you've been waiting for after Irby reads out the comments, so if you will. I think Gabi has some pretty interesting commentary.
No, everything is Kengo. Kengo 5 has 3 skill evolutions now. I think that's a new record. No, not really. Oniwaka kind of beat him to it, and I think Nomad, or however you pronounce it, actually had 3. Before as well.
Across all his reigns, I think he had even more, maybe? I forgot. But it was
Probably.
Avenger plus, and then Teleporter, maybe one other thing. Want to repeat that, Irby? We can't hear you.
3 skill evolutions is new. Happened before. Hello, got a new phone for Christmas. Hey, congratulations. I like Kengo's 5-star because he always used that buff. Tadatomo already had 3 skill evolutions. Does he?
Avenger Plus, and then
Oh, the Avengers.
the Dog Warrior one.
Yeah, Oniwaka also had 3. That's the only one I remember actually, and the ones that had Avenger. But I forgot Tadatomo had Avenger as well.
Yeah, Oniwaka is still probably king, but Kengo's getting there as the true Kengo among Kengo and Oniwaka.
And constant self-healing too is pretty great now. Well, actually, the healing isn't actual healing because
It exists. Go ahead.
it exists to cancel out the HP loss from Infinitude, because Infinitude actually deals 800 damage at the end of the turn when it expires.
Yeah,
So-
it's very confusing.
They're also part of the same effect, so you will never have one without the other.
Yeah, that's pretty much just to cancel out the damage.
Well, unless your Infinitude is somehow removed before then, but let's not talk about the details.
I thought that Infinitude was in fact the actual of Kengo, so he applied weakness to hit units as well. Yeah, I remember that. I was actually on the server seeing that it didn't apply to the one-hit units, and Milk just said, "Oh, they buffed him." With really?
Oh, seriously? Dang.
Albion syndrome.
And then I checked the kit, and oh wow, they actually did.
So
It
he's,
now applies to the units he hits now too.
dang, so he's a lot stronger than even before. Like,
Yeah.
actually just a 2 times rate stronger, 2.4 times stronger than before. So yeah, that's an incredible buff for 5-star king, not just as a support unit, but also for his own potential offensive. So that's excellent.
Yeah,
It's still only after attacking, isn't it?
yeah, it's still after attacking, but
Oh,
it's still pretty good because it used to not affect the units he attacked, only the adjacents. So
so if you
Now
have
it's-
Tsukiyomi behind, now he can also... Actually, that doesn't even make sense. If you have Eita behind... I don't know.
why
I don't know.
why Eita?
Just use Eita.
Just use just use A-tier. Just use A-tier. Give him Infinitude, movement expansion, crit, and exploit the weakness.
True,
Easy.
true. He could be behind it as well as to the side. So yeah, more positional flexibility as a result. All right.
It does. The heal's gonna make up for it now. Kengo is now allowed in my bed. Anyways, nice. This is what happens when Kengo practices dance.
Indeed,
I'm
indeed.
not
We should all
really sure
practice
what
dance.
that means, but sure.
I think he's saying you should try dancing, and then you'll see what he means. Anyways, the Christmas content. What you been waiting for? We're all done here, right? All right.
Yes, everyone
Yes.
was waiting for the Choji review.
Shit, never happened. Actually, it's the first one to happen. God damn it! I forgot I was the first one to go. Okay, so Choji exists. Yes, he certainly does, and he does a lot of things related to blessing. But I mean, apparently a lot of things. I wouldn't say if it's actually a lot of things. So yeah, he has a few roles as a damage dealer, but only when he charges, and he has a few ways to actually build his charge. After buff CP with self, as well as whenever he attacks, he gets some CP from himself, and because he just gives a whole bunch of buffs himself on phase start, protection and blessing and nullify debuff, as well as a blessing strengthening for on appearance. He'll be able to get 40 CP on turn 1, and on subsequent phases 30 CP. So he can fairly quickly build his charge, and that's like, he can also revive units if he's hit, I guess. Very abysmal rate. Like, Ryota does it at much higher rate for what reason. He's like less than half of that.
You actually made an asset for this.
Yeah, I did. Well, if I didn't make one for Choji, I would make one for no one. It's like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I do this so that I can try to find the utility units I don't immediately see, because I don't like going off just leaving and saying they're bad units without really giving it a look. Yeah, so he has 2 times advantage against blessing. Sorry, 1.5 times advantage against blessing, and he also, when the enemy has blessing, he actually I need to look at the specific notes. I'm not on my own notes. Look at them as. Oh yeah, so there's a difference between him having blessing strengthening and him having like advantage against blessing. If he has a blessing on himself, then his damage goes up by 2 times, and if the enemy has blessing, his damage goes up by 1.5 times. So as a result, on his charge, he actually gets amped up a bit since he bestows blessing both to self as well as the enemy, and a bit of extra from Ardor. So he will always do, like, as long as he's able to get those buffs up, a minimum of 21.2k damage per square, which is alright. It's actually like higher than some of the other units' charge damage from my calculations. Let me just see the comparisons. It's definitely higher than Dead's, which is only like 5k per square, and it's higher than Yasuyori's, surprisingly, which is only 19k per square. But we're talking about like only by a little bit here. So he does okay damage if you're able to get his charge up. So as a result, I would recommend ARs that play more towards him getting that CP, or buffs to actually get that CP, as well as any ARs that give blessing advantage. I think there's only one that AR gives blessing advantage to him specifically. It's the Choji Ryoto one, and any that also increases CS damage, because like he pretty much functions exclusively to do damage on his charge, because you're not going to use him for reviving, and you're not going to use him for the petty heal for blessing whenever he's buffed at 40% on the Gs. And for the same reasons, I would partner him up with anyone with buff reversal. Whenever he does charge, it should be frequent enough that it can be taken advantage of, as well as multi-buffers to get his CP up super quickly. And those are all my thoughts on him.
There is nothing to say here.
There is absolutely nothing to say.
Guys, no! No! I tried my best, Choji. What happened?
He can charge really fast, and he can deal decent damage on CS. That's it.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's it. That's Christmas Choji.
No, what happened? You're supposed to be a Daichi. You're supposed to be ridiculously overpowered, much to everyone's BS. Oh well.
Gave him really bad rates for some reason. Like, I mean, if his rates were, 100%, 90%, maybe you would have a reason to use him, but it's just, they don't.
His CPU rates for after buff is quite decent, but other than that,
I don't understand why the when attacking 6 CP to self and allies is only 60%, to be honest.
Yeah, that part, as well as the after buff blessing to allies, it seems like largely an afterthought. And this is one of the worst revive skills I've ever seen. It's like, why bother?
They also made him a type that can't use the blessing advantage and blessing on attack AR, the Zabanya Arslan AR. If he could use that one, he would actually be able to do, okay damage without his CS, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Yes. Rip Choji.
They could have made him fire or wood.
It will just be a memory now.
Alright. As Sephiroth would say, I will not just be a memory, or whatever.
Something about how that would be only a memory.
Well, I'm sure Choji will have a comeback eventually one day when all the enemies have blessing. Who knows? Anyway, I'm gonna go read out the comments now, since obviously everyone wants to move on from this. Nuke Eito, well, let's go. Yo Choji, Uwu. Choji variant, I don't know what you mean. Yeah, I don't know what you mean either. I certainly didn't work on this asset for like two hours. Choji's the most relevant because it never happened. Crazy how his regular 4, which is like 3 years old, is now better healer than CP Charizard. Yeah, the thing about his kid is, like, even though it has blessing every year, I did not put on the healer label on him for a reason. It's like, you're only gonna get blessing from him, and it's like...
Just a damage dealer that isn't even a good damage dealer.
Why does he have so much blessing on these things, and it's not even, like, healing? It doesn't make sense. So yeah, don't bring him if you plan to, like, heal. Use regular Choji. He's not a CP battery either for others, so use regular Choji. God damn it. I didn't even know he gave CP to others, Lamau. He did not. He gives it to himself. His regular does give CP to others, though. With his Evo, that is. His Evo is quite good. It's one of the, a few Evos we look to for like, game-changing ones. It was one of the first game-changing Evos. Before then, there was just like a whole bunch of poop that everyone kind of just said Evos don't matter. fucking the glint age of Evos.
My stream just started buffering.
Is that how it appears on your side, Irby? Seems fine on my side. Irby?
Oh no.
It's working fine.
Okay.
It might be me then. Well, I can't
It's
see the
working
chat.
fine.
Sounds like a you problem.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, but yeah, he gets a bunch of CP on phase 3, yes. OMG, 30 CP, that is great. Let's see. He's an older Daichi, that's why he's not stupid broken. That makes sense, but okay. Alright, he can't even use that. After buff blessing, the true nullify buff counter, please. Please. Furufumi exists already, jeez. Choji will stay where he belongs in Ara's memory. I didn't even get him, so whatever. Not that I was pulling for him. I was pulling for dead, which I didn't get. Very expensive. It's probably better to use him with someone who can give multiple buffs. He does his job well in the event free quest. Well, that is cool for the drop quest.
Yeah. Yeah, he can actually be pretty clutch in the event free quests.
Yeah, I figured. I mean, he never really does like pitifully irrelevant damage, even when he's weakest. He does like 3.8 damage, which is, you know, it's like sort of bad, but it's like it's workable with one extra buff.
Okay.
You know. Let's see.
You know what would have been an extra buff if he had the 5-star AR?
Oh please, weren't you the one? Yeah, you and me were both shitting on that AR before, and now we're just saying it's relevant.
Well, because Choji is built. Choji's kit looks like it was meant to use that AR.
Don't.
Yeah.
You can't use it.
Don't you see, Irby? You're never gonna release units that are meant for specific ARs anymore. It's like fucking. Not after like fucking the Alice AR. That's like the only time it ever applies. But every single other time, they kind of just worked around releasing units around specific ARs, which is kind of ridiculous. Alright, let me just continue. Oops, I still have that AR, but that AR is for fire and valiant units. Yeah, rip Choji. Wait. Yeah, Choji's Easter. Nomi says, I'll probably stumble upon him in a few months and say, oh right, this guy. Should've got a valiant. Choji should have been valiant, yeah. I was thinking he was gonna be non-orange or something. Non-orange. What do you... Oh, range. It's like, what do you mean orange? Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about it as an 4-star. Let's go buffering another region. Wait, is there actually buffering? No, Lucer button.
No, it's fine now.
It's fine now.
Lucer! So, yeah, this Choji is a CP spam. Choji does not so great. Except for CP spam at that. Choji does not exist. Alright, moving on. Yes, it is.
Let's talk about the better CP spamming unit.
You mean the first unit we'll be talking about on the banner? Go ahead.
Yeah. As soon as the bloody thing changed. There we go. Right. So, Yasuyori is also a CP spammer like Choji, except he's a lot better at it. So, first of all, he can control his own CS whenever he moves, he applies CS lock to himself. So, he can elect to not CS. This is kind of like Shiva and Heracles, who are the Heracles 3, who are the only units who can also control their own CS in such a way. Shiva inflicts darkness on himself on move, and Heracles 3 also inflicts CS locked himself. Heracles 5 does not inflict CS locked himself for some reason. Probably some nuance with this kit, but I didn't read that. Anyway, he also applies taunt and tenacity, taunt to himself and tenacity to himself and allies around him. So he functions kind of like as a tank and team support. But he also removes every turn he removes one debuff from himself, which will likely be CS lock. So provided he doesn't get debuffed by someone else, he will always have the opportunity to CS. All he has to do is not move, or have it negated, have CS lock negated in some way, like nullify debuff or reflect debuff, which we'll talk about in a moment. Anyway, so he starts with 100 CP whenever he appears, so even if he comes in from the back line, and his CS he gives himself crit, spirit. Oh wait, no, spirit doesn't apply to himself. Never mind. No. So he gets crit and adamantine and a bit of CP to self and allies. His CS does decent damage. It deals 18,420 damage, which is it's decent. That's at SA1.
It actually does 19k damage. I'll have you know. Did he factor in the level 1 crit
Sorry,
as well as the spirit?
No, I did not calculate the logarithms or whatever. But yeah, it deals around 19k damage, which is decent. So he's got a really good. Well, he's got decent. I should not say really good. He's got decent burst whenever he appears, which you can further augment with anything else. So he has adamantine strengthening, which is another one of those invisible buffs. As long as he has adamantine, he gains 1.5 multiplied to all his damage. This actually isn't. It doesn't really work in his favor because it makes the CS stronger, yes. But the problem is that it means he's stuck with a really crappy adamantine at SA1 because it's only a 0.9 multiplier. So for defensive purposes, his adamantine doesn't really work. But you could pair him with units who give adamantine, and he could take advantage of that. But there are only 6 units who give adamantine to allies. 4 of them don't do it well, or too well. Which are Zal 3, 4, Eisen 3, and 5, who have a 30% chance in a thrust range behind them when they get hit, which isn't that great. There's also Setsubin Motsusumi, who gives it phase start 90%, allies around him, which is decent, but I would say not great because Motsusumi's kit itself doesn't really work with Yasuyori. And then there's Jamboree Eisen, who gives it whenever. Jamboree Eisen gives adamantine to adjacent allies whenever he gets debuffed, which actually synergizes with Yasuyori. If you put Jamboree Eisen before Yasuyori, he can take CS lock off of him, turn start, and possibly give an adamantine. So Yasuyori can provide adamantine or a debuffs for Eisen to use. Anyway, moving along, because that isn't too important. The adamantine is more for the strength. The adamantine strengthening is more for just a free attack buff. He has a ton of CP gain from buffs and debuffs. So whenever he moves, he will gain Taunt, Tenacity, and CS Lock. So that alone gives 32. I don't know if I calculate that right. 32 CP to himself, provided he hits the rates, which are at 80% for some reason. So if you keep moving him, he'll gain his CS in about 4 turns, I believe, assuming he receives no more debuffs. But because of his afterbuffs CP gain, he really thrives off of units who can give him a ton of short buffs. The examples I thought of were Triton, who gives evasion, protection, and reflect debuff. And that actually has a weird property where if Yasuyori has reflect debuff and 100 CP, his CS lock will reflect back to himself, but he'll still CS anyway, which is strange. But either way, Triton can work for protection, evasion, and reflect debuff to further stack up his defense and also give him lots of CP. There's also Itzamna from this banner, who gives tenacity and glint and a bunch of other buffs, which we'll talk about later. And then there's also Festival Furifumi, who gives limit to arousal ardor all on turn start, so he doesn't need to move and can give Yasuyori the CP right away. Other than that, Yasuyori also provides minor support to allies via crit, which is unfortunately at a pretty low rate. It unfortunately doesn't apply to himself, which leaves his non-CS damage as really quite pitiful. It's only 2,300 damage with adamantine. So to conclude, basically Yasuyori is supposed to spam his CS a lot. He needs support from allies to really do it well. he thrives with allies who provide short-lasting buffs to trigger his after buff effects really quickly. He can act as a minor tank through Taunt and Tenacity and an Adamantine, but the Adamantine kind of sucks, to be honest. And his Tenacity has a 90% rate, which is, without his CS, he has mediocre rate. So, yeah, pretty much just pairing with buffers. Useful ARs on him are the Childhood Friends, the Shiro Kengo AR for increased multiplier on his CS to further power up, because that's what he's based around. And the Durga Sao Wonderburger AR for more buffs from CP and also Guts, which is always useful. Yasuyori already has Guts, but you know, having more is always fun. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add on that, other than I feel like it's not worth trying to add Adamantine to Yasuyori from an external source. At that point, just easily add it. It's like,
yeah, if you really wanted to do that, like, there are better ways to beef up his defense and attack at the same time. Like, I mean, if you wanted to go for the attack, you could just go for pure offense. You could also just go for anyone who gives defense up, and then he can, you know, stack that with the Adamantine, or protection. You can stack that with the Adamantine he already gets. It's just a silly thing I was thinking of.
yeah, it's like, it's tempting to have, like, you know, these strengthening things and say, oh, this synergizes with this unit, but it's like, or you could just use a unit that just overall supports them better, you know, rather than gives them a slight synergy bonus.
Yeah, it's kind of whatever. Honestly, Yasuyori's kit is kind of like, even if you make him CS spam, like I said, he only deals, well, he deals 19k per CS, which is, it's all right, but it's not, you know, stellar. There are units who can do that damage without having to rely on their CS. So yeah, he can work, but I would say there are probably better choices.
Yeah, Irby, you there?
Yes, I'm right here. I'm just.
Your eyes glazing over from my incessant rambling.
No, I'm just very upset that Yasuyori can't kill Echo in the farm quest without his CS.
Yeah, I always have to time around that. Otherwise, even with concentration, I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, I'm using a level 81. Almost. It is, I don't even think if 85 would actually make him kill her, because I don't even see HP anymore. It must only be just a tiny bit left, but still disappointing that I cannot one turn without my own Yasuyori pensive.
Just pull for one.
I mean, at least phase 1 doesn't
I
exist.
already.
Phase 1 is like,
Yeah.
who cares about phase 1? It's just gone. So it's a bit faster as a result, I guess.
Yeah, phase 1 and 3. Actually, the whole farm quest is pretty easy. It's just frustrating to see people survive with one.
You know,
HP.
I would say I'd be surprised that these farm quests were so easy, given how, like, generally not overpowered these units are. But then it's like, everyone has a 2 times damage bonus.
I think the 2 times damage buff is because none of these units are supposed to deal.
They think it's a cool thing, but they're just hiding the fact that it's like a mediocre one. Just like Extravaganza was.
It's not a mediocre one. It's actually a good one. Kidding, it has Choji.
Should I read the comments now?
Yes, you may.
Where were we?
It's summer.
Selfish CP spam on the discount V Snow. There we go. Finally, best doggo. Yasu, let's go. Let's go. Just guess. Next, we get skill evolution for ARs.
It could happen.
I kind of hope not. Best like.
Wait. And add Choji to the AR crudely photoshopping him out. You didn't read the second part.
That would be great. Terrible photoshops. That's like Shiva with CS slot. Yeah, he has the same CS stopping parts. I arrived at the best part. Free glint AR for him. Free glint. Sorry, what?
I'm not sure either.
Well, maybe we'll figure out what you can answer, Law. Yasuyori is really good CS charger paired with a friendly Yasuyori, and one of them will get CS within the next 2 turns on the phase 1 of the 45 stamina 3 times 6. Yeah, it's really easy to just have them CS over and over again. Although I think my setup doesn't really have the units for it because I'm using Echo and MC. But
speaking of which, some of you may have noticed I didn't do drop quest videos, and that was partly because I don't know, I didn't think the fights or their kits were particularly remarkable to watch or anything. And also, it's Christmas! It's Klima! So I decided to take a break. Alright.
And you can hit it. Well, you don't want to use the Yasuyori Go Jingle Bells, Daurimas.
Meth made like a video of it already. Jingle bells!
That was.
You can show up the pretty CSs with the pinatas and the surfboards and the cakes.
It's okay, I already have leaked cake. I'm good.
Great. He's also cute as a CC, which only adds to the unit. It's pretty good for a unit with no self-attack buffs outside of CS. I feel like Yasuyori is a mix of Val and Vargas because of double defensive buffs on self instant charge, but kind of better because giving crit to adjacents, not self-stand. Yeah, I wish he'd give crit to himself. That would be on the CS. That would make him actually deal okay damage.
And it also gives his utility as
1,200 damage. Yeah. I got some face. Oh, got some face. Oh, wow. I mean, got some.
Nothing much to say about that. It's just for the CP, really.
Yeah. Buffering moment. There's no buffering. What do you mean? Sin. He moves too much. Leonan frowns at him. No. Well, I mean, you could pair him with Leonan, and then he'll do big fat CS damage and also get a ton of CP from her buffs.
You can also use Leonan with other unit.
You can use Leonan with everyone on this banner.
You can use Leonan with everyone. Period.
But can you use the Leonan with herself?
People already have done that.
Questions.
Then someone do a challenge quest clear of the the very first challenge quest in FCOD. They did it with double Leonan, I think.
Well, those actually don't count because those are
really easy.
Easy.
Alright, please let me one hour. Thank God we're slowly moving away from that, stacking a lot of defense. Moving away from what? Unfortunately, I can't tell what the context is now. Stacking a lot of defense like he's a hard wall. I'm Gowie. What? Hi, Gowie. Look now. I see your name as Nomi.
A bit of a conversation has happened down here.
Yeah. 90k, that a lot. Did I say 90k?
No, you did not. You said 19k.
I don't remember you saying that.
Yeah, I said 19. 19k.
19k, you phoned me.
Yes. He can't even deal that with the fucking 100% attack bonus.
He would need Leonan or similar to deal 90k damage. 19k, 19. Yes. I can just use C's Xmas. I haven't used her yet because I don't have her on my emulator. I have her on my phone though.
Did you say XCs? We're not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh here. Keep on going.
What?
Oh, there's something called like an XCs card. I don't know. I just randomly binge watched a whole bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh videos at one point.
I thought it was XYZ.
Well, they could pronounce that too.
Why did they pronounce it Z? But Z's doesn't. Yeah, Z's doesn't add to the tool quests. Yes, there's an ether unit. I think the plus CP to allies from CS actually makes it hard to build around.
Something I've actually noticed is that sometimes it's kind of weird.
Irby, please repeat all of that, please. We can't hear you.
What I found, I've been finding a weird pattern on the vertical quests where basically Yasuyori's CS doesn't give CP to allies when he hits the last evil, the one on the top on phase 1. I noticed that happened a lot of times, and I don't understand why that happens.
That's an oddly specific thing to notice.
Yeah, that's been happening almost every time. I noticed that happening, and I was like, wait, why isn't Choji and the other Yasuyori getting CP from this enemy hit? And
I have to pay attention to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at a drop quest video, probably Milk's later, or anyone's, to see that take effect. Because pretty much everyone who's done a drop quest video has done Yasuyori doing the turn 1 charge.
Well, yeah. If you use 2 Yasus and put someone between them, they can double CS very fast. Yeah, lots and lots of CS. CP. That's saying Merry Christmas in English words, saying it with English Japanese. I haven't actually used that yet. You can use Leonan. You can use Leonan with a wet tissue and still work. You can use Leonan with level 1 Oni and still do most content. And probably do okay with most content. Leonan, that's it. That's the game plan. Yeah.
Tokyo Leonan Summoners.
No. Okay, let's move on. Spent way too much time with my ramblings.
Alright. And now we have dear old Jolly Santa Claus, presented by our dear old Derby, if you will.
Alright, Christmas Dead. I frankly don't even know where to start here, but I'll try my best. Christmas Dead is probably the best unit to inflict burn with. He has an all-range charge CS that inflicts burn to everyone on the field, which is honestly pretty unique. There are quite a few units that work around exploiting that burn, and especially now that we have conflagration, there's extra ways to take advantage of burn outside dealing extra damage to it. Dead has a bunch of new invisible statuses applied to him. He has he pretty much gains 20% skill activation rate whenever he has acceleration up, and whenever he does not, he gets some extra defense. This is to work around his 100% evasion after he moves. His rates look pretty bad for the most part, but I think that's supposed to be the point because of the 20% skill activation rate. The problem is that 20% doesn't actually apply when he applies that acceleration to himself on the first turn. It's only going to apply to the second and third turn of acceleration, which is frankly a shame.
Yeah.
He also has another unique invisible. Well, it's not a buff this time. It's an invisible debuff. Every phase start, he applies Burn Weakening to all enemies on the board, and what that does is it basically increases the damage taken by them if they have Burn applied on them, which is pretty neat, to be honest. Coupled with his CS, it can help him deal some pretty nice damage and help other units deal a lot of damage. That's essentially an entire field buff to everyone after he uses his CS, because everyone will have that increased damage taken from burn, regardless if they work or not with burn.
Isn't the advantage like 1.5 times or something? Well, not advantage, but like yeah.
It's only 1.5, but it's still a full board advantage. And that has some okay ways to keep his CP up. When he misses, he gains 20% CP at 80%. if he has the acceleration up, that turns out to be 100%. So he has a sustainable way to continuously get CP even without hitting any enemies, despite his slash range. In fact, I think I actually recommend it over actually attacking, because his only effect after attacking is a 60% burn, which isn't really that useful. I want to say, at least for now. You could pair him up with other units that deal extra damage against burn, but slash range burn at 60%, it's not really worth it.
And again, something I touched on was when Zalgos was talking from adamantine strengthening. It's like you're going a lot of effort to take advantage of like a 1.5 times bonus. Might be a better setups at that point.
But there is a particularly good setup with that. His CS, as I've talked about, is an all-range charge that applies burn to everyone, and he also deals an additional 2 times damage against burn himself, which can help him deal actual significant damage despite the lack of any offensive buffs to himself, which is pretty neat. And he also gets a small heal on a diamond radius to himself and everyone around him, which is pretty negligible, and it's really nothing that should be relied upon. 150 to 300 HP is
strange.
Not that great. He also has 2 buffs he can bestow to the party. In Diamond Rage, after moving, he can bestow Ardor at a 70%, and also at 70%, he can apply protection in a cross range, which makes him pretty much kind of a mixed area support. He also has horizontal movement to give him additional help with the moving, and give him an actual reason to move, and to help reposition your units. And he also has a 10% charm on long slash range after he moves. It's pretty low, but
yeah, well,
it is pretty low.
He's meant to be a frontliner, even though he has an on-miss ability.
Yeah,
I think it's a. They're releasing.
Really,
sorry, go on.
I don't really consider that charm to be particularly worth it to take advantage of, at least for now. I much prefer that he'd stay on the back to get that CP, rather than to go for a potential 30% charm and a potential 80% burn on the targets.
I guess he can play both ways, kind of like a Kotar in the back that has slightly less reliable rates every third turn. And
they certainly tried to make him have multiple purposes, with the whole acceleration thing, and with the whole on miss and after attack on move.
Yeah, and
all the things just made a bit of a messy kit that somehow makes him work as a pretty general purpose, as a pretty decent general purpose unit.
Yeah, and he's like a unit that has extended horizontal movement with that wide buff range on the sides. I'm not exactly sure if there's any other unit like that right now, but I've been waiting for a unit like that for a while, because, you know, sometimes you want a different unit in the center who only has limited ranges for effects. So in that case, like, Dead can still like push the front line, acting as like an effective slash unit with his debuff and buffs to everyone, like 2 squares to the left or to the right of him, and still advance everyone ahead because of that extended movement, or reposition them.
Yeah, pretty much. So the ARs I recommended for him are just kind of a bit random, to be honest. They're mostly focused
just like
on
himself.
They're mostly focused on building his own charge, or just gaining some extra damage on his CS and some extra benefit for moving himself, or even to help support the party, since he also has that supportive role to himself. I forgot to talk about one thing that can be actually pretty important, is that when he appears, he bestows 20 CP to entire board and himself, which honestly can be play around.
Yeah, it helps with
and
the
can be pretty
triceps.
neat. I think Kanan Kijimuna already had this.
What was it before?
So-
Was it like 10 CP also, or was it 20 CP then?
Oh, it was also 20 CP, I believe.
Yeah, well,
So
he got a decent usage, and now you don't have to use Kiji. You can use that instead if you have him. So that's good.
yes, pretty much. And other recommendations, honestly, I think it worked probably best with Cthulhu, to be honest, because Cthulhu himself can exploit that burn, and on his CS, he actually deals a lot. He actually exploits burn by and deals 3 times damage to burn on his CS. So if you can time both CSs pretty, Cthulhu can deal some pretty devastating damage that can stack with Leonard buffs. Other units that can exploit burn with him are probably just like Teletomo if you really want to go for those conflagration memes with all range burn, or even Zabani if you really want that pitiful damage advantage against burn, which actually isn't that pitiful if you consider the fact that the enemies also have burn weakening that stacks with that advantage, so that can be pretty neat to take advantage of.
Yeah.
That is pretty much my thoughts on it.
You see, I have a couple of extra thoughts on it.
There's also something I forgot to say that I think he also would pair well with units that can control his own CP a little better, like some CP batteries, just so that you can
Daikaku
actively control when. Yeah, so that you can actively control when he actually CSs, because if you're building around that, the timing is very important.
Yeah, as anyone who's ever tried all range setups before, one of the most disappointing things is wasting a charge early on like one unit only, or still just a completely already dead board. So yeah, timing is important when it comes to that. I have a couple of extra thoughts on top of that. One, non-acceleration strengthening is extremely stupid and really has no part of this kit at all. But sure, add it.
Hang on, and then be kind of tanky.
Like
Extra thing, if you don't really want to move him at all, you can also pair him up with the ridiculously low amount of people that can bestow acceleration.
Very low.
Valentine, Yumao, and
Gunzo, maybe.
Valentine.
Or was it Wakan? I forgot.
Yes. Gunzo.
Wakan, I think, does it as well.
Wakan does it too.
Okay. And yeah, I had one other thought, but I forgot it. While I try to remember that, Zalgus, please give your thoughts.
Well, you pretty much said everything that I thought. That he kind of has like a lot of random effects in this kit, which it makes him a good general purpose unit, and the only real unique synergy he has is that burn advantage part, which is fine, I guess. We didn't really have anyone who could.
Oh yeah, I remember. Fucking if and when stackable burn ever releases, that's gonna get a huge buff as a result of that. If they actually update this kit.
You can become channel.
Yeah, actually do that. It's going to be completely busted.
That'll be hilarious.
If burn weakening applies, all of them.
They make the same mistake as they did with Shannon, where they bugged it out.
Watch that be with the Yule variant, the ultimate like teacher's pet.
No Yules. I will say one thing I'm disappointed about is that he didn't get a super mentor skill.
Yeah, that too. That was disappointing to level him through dungeons.
That would be so abysmal if he had. That would make him a must pull, and that'd be depressing for my stone count.
Oh yeah, actually, that would suck.
It would have been perfect for me, at least.
Okay. It would have been nice though. I definitely would have pulled for Dead more, especially since they fucking didn't reprint the Ryota banner. Why would they do that? They released like the best Evo ever period to make a single unit like over centralizing, and then they
doing it. Probably doing it on Christmas, like last time. They only reprinted the old Christmas banners.
Save your stones for Christmas, everyone.
Save it for Christmas Ryota.
Actually, how many times did you pull her?
For him? Well,
for Dead.
Oh, for Dead? One multi, and yeah, that's pretty much it. One multi.
To complain.
I have the right to complain. I have 50 stones worth of rights. Look, I tried pulling for him, but then I was like...
Did you look at the kits?
No. I knew his kits from the beginning. I wrote them from the beginning. What are you talking about, right? I mean, I prepared the wiki pages, but it was more like, I mean, I wanted him out of like, if I look stacked him, but I didn't want him in terms of dropping my entire load. That's for units that actually have good kits.
Fair.
I forgot to mention immune to immobility. Wow.
Damn, Babylon.
Babylon synergy, let's go! Why does that shit exist? It's not like people play with Babylon that often, jeez. Okay,
I guess were to distribute buffs with Goemon or something.
No, that's not gonna happen. Anyway, so dumb. Read the commentary of you all.
Where did we stop?
Something about Lianon.
Okay,
yeah, Lianon.
I'll come at the very end again. Well, there's still 2 units left, I think, and or
2 units and 1 AR.
Yeah, 2 units and
1 AR. You guys should look in our server when you have the chance. Yes, I have already seen the edit of that AR. Thank you.
Very good edit.
Very cool. Finally, Choji can use it. Santos finally make it with it. AR with Moritaka and Shino. That will be perfect. Yeah, it should be really. It should help him build up his CS faster. Yeah, I'd love to check the server out if there were a link to it somewhere. There isn't.
It's I hand out invites personally. It's not something I just want anyone to join. I was considering inviting you a number of times.
What about?
Probably. Maybe I'll send it after.
What about our server? I'm talking to them, not chat. Zaben dead, standing near a tree burning. Pair dead with Tada for instant burn debuff. 2 times damage. It's over 9,000. Well,
it's actually under
honestly,
9,000.
It's not really that.
It's like 5,000.
It's actually not. It's actually pretty good. I mean, it's 2 times damage plus the 1.5 from Burn Awakening. So that's superior to an attack up buff or a brawn buff or the regular more than 1 turn buffs. So that's pretty alright.
Yeah.
Santa's gift is a degree burn this year. I think that is number 1. He is good and strong. You should have him in your team. It's better for buff CS.
But I have I already have a water all range charger. Or he's just finally joining in.
Why would you use Kotaro when you could use Dead? That is the real question.
Big brain.
I like this kit, but I'm not sure if it works with his lore. I was expecting something similar to Astarte kit-wise, but hey, at least he's not Choji. I think it reflects both Santas pretty well as well. I mean,
yeah,
he's got offensive buffs. He's got defensive buffs. He deals extra damage, but he also heals on the CS. He still has the whole duality. He also has the with acceleration and without acceleration. I think it's just portrayed differently than the regular version. The duality of Black Dead and White Dead is just portrayed differently in this card than on his regular one. That one is Choji on. Wild. Yeah, honestly, it would be. It's actually pretty useful. on the dungeons. I have been using him to suboptimally level him because I can't use I can't use full mentors on level. Unfortunately, and he at least my dad can clear the phases with his CS alone and no extra buff, so that's pretty nice. I want some more Ryota.
Well, you've seen us.
I don't think Gara got a single one from yeah, Christmas Ryota is pretty good.
He's like,
if they release Ryota, I won't get him for sure. I have no stones. Luther, I thought you had stones.
He just burned it on Yasuyori a second ago.
No, I didn't you get him from like 2 tickets or something?
Did he?
Yeah.
This is what happens when I don't write notes sooner and then I miss that. Well, then again, if I was there, I probably would have jinxed him.
No, if you'd gotten Super Mentor now, you'd have to add a 5-star cost in your dungeon builds. Haha, what if I already had a 5-star cost in my dungeon builds?
I mean, yeah, Irby obviously brought his 5-star dead with him.
I mean, it would have been worth depending on how much percent his EXP boost is. I've got a multi-pool ready because I'm waiting for Christmas reprint so I can get Pollux, my beloved. Hopefully he gets a skill evolution as well as every unit on that banner because they're all trash. Furry Goemon from Persona 5. I'm waiting for a new skin of Kengo a long time, but it's not coming. I hope that new skin is coming soon.
Doesn't
He already
Kengo
got
get
a
like
few
a
skins
new skin every single
recently.
time? Yeah, he's not exactly.
He got one on the Cat Festival. He got one on Cat Festival. Well, he doesn't have a lot of skins, I think, but he did get a few of them on the Cat Festival.
As long as he's a summoner,
with
he's not going
his
to be.
17 skins.
Yeah, Ryota is the one that has skins, I think.
It's because he has a sense of fashion.
That is burning. That is burning 2020 for being a bad kid. SMH.
The truest lore right there.
210.
Ah, yes, I remember the Santa lore when he burned everyone to the ground.
Of course. But he's not handing out coal because we're the coal guy. No, I don't want to be coal. 3 tickets just today. I just spent 400 stones last time. All my stones. I spent 14 tickets on the banner. Ryota also has a second variant which might add to his outfit list, just saying. Yeah, but even without his second variant, I think Ryota still had more.
Wasn't there lore about the original Santa legend where the Black Santa actually did do something not very nice to the bad kids? I forget what it was.
And then his
I don't know
clothes turned red or something.
I don't actually remember.
I don't remember if it was actually burning them.
I don't remember
I don't know
it either.
It was something about the Krampus legend or something. I don't know. Who cares? This isn't the lore discussion. This is the unit discussion. So let's just. I think we've Irby has covered all the topics, so we'll just move on to the next unit. If that's alright with you guys. We're making good time.
Yeah,
here.
sure. Are we?
Yeah, we're under 1 hour 30 minutes, and the first part only took 30 minutes. All right, let's go on. What is the next part? Oh yeah, the AR. It exists. Use it sometimes, I guess. Use it with a. Okay, so what this AR does, which has not been translated yet, so I will refer to this as this AR from now on, is only in turns 4, 5, and 6 you will remove a single debuff. And this is going to be guaranteed because it is an event AR, so you will do your due diligence and max this AR, hopefully, so that it is guaranteed. Whether it's through the drops or through the associated missions, or obviously both. And it also removes conflagration, which is completely irrelevant, so I won't even mention that after that point. The only thing I can say is it could be good on feasibly certain units, if not for the restrictions that prevent that. So
I think the problem of this AR is that it must be turn 4, 5, and 6 of that phase. It can't be the if you go to phase 2 on turn 4, you have to wait 4 turns again to apply this effect.
Yeah, it resets. So you're gonna be using this in a very specific kind of a phase, a battle with a specific kind of phase. You're not going to be using it on like quick phase battles, which is the majority of quests, and you're not going to be using it on long phase battles because it doesn't apply for 7 onward, which is a large proportion of the rest. So this all is like into the medium range phases, which is a bit awkward. But with that said, it does have a pretty decent effect for that range. I would just say, I guess, use this for Jamboree Aizen in debuff heavy phases, because he can remove 1 debuff L time, but if he happens to absorb a whole bunch at the same time, then he'll have what's it called? He can only remove 1 every turn. So yeah, use this if you want him to have a bit more help for turns 4, 5, and 6 together. But I don't really have anything else to say about this AR. What are you guys?
It's nice that it's got so many applicable restrictions. Fire, War, and Ether, there's a lot of units. You can see 292 right there.
I wish it was more, because I would have recommended for Sonic Kumaro for his spread debuff or whatever.
I think it's neat because we don't have the well prepped for an AR yet from dungeons, unfortunately, and it's going to take a while. Even though we do have an AR that prevents burn, it is a 5-star, but I believe that conflagration is probably going to be more relevant on the enemies than on the actual player side, and if it does, like it did on the Jamboree challenge quest with Phase 1, it could be pretty useful against stuff like that if they ever pull it again. But again, that's only because there's no easy access to a burn resistance AR, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I would have considered using this AR for that quest too. Well, actually, not really. I would have. The only person that took conflagration damage was my fucking Tan and Tangoro, and he can't equip it either. There's a lot of newer units that might have benefited from this card, but just because of the very lactose restrictions, they can't equip it, unfortunately. So, it's an okay AR. It'll be good when it's needed, but it's not often going to be needed.
No bully.
Alright, let me just read the super quick comments since those. I'm done with this AR. I know we're all done with this AR. Don't even lie. Go to Santa Claus. Just saying. Santa Claus doesn't really need you, but might as well give him one. Fucking DML 5 received one, so he can fail into. Are we being burned by Deadlight Corpy Cat? Okay. Exactly like that.
The complete Corpy. Yes.
Complete elation over having your skin burnt off by Dead as he sings Merry Christmas. Lulu, congrats for getting Yasu. Yeah, congrats on that.
Oh, great to joy.
The true Christmas present is having your skin peeled off. I'm so shocked you got immediate tickets, to be honest. Yeah, it happens. Yes, lucky. Key smashing. How many you do spend just done for you guys? Yasuyori? A few tickets, that's what he said. I spent 400 stones, and why don't we just a lot of content about boosters builds right now. How does the conflagration removal go from 30% to 100%? That doesn't make sense now. By default, in the game's data, a skill's activation rate goes from its base rate to double that, but there's a specific parameter within the game that lets you specify an end rate, so it doesn't have to be double. It can go up to 100 directly instead of just 60. And this is obviously a good thing in this case. There's actually a lot of 3-star ARs like this where it's at a shitty 20% rate, or 30% rate. But if you look at it, it actually scales up to 100% if you actually get enough dips, which is unlikely to happen for 3-star ARs. However, it also works the other way where it could work against you. For example, the ARs for the Oath of Binding, the Oath of Pioneer, Oath of, all those ones give immunity to something at 80%, and they actually scale up to 100%. But that does not say that they scale up to 160% and cap off at whenever it reaches 100. It actually slowly trickles to 100%, and you only reach 100% exactly when you reach max level for that AR of 100. So it can go both ways. It can either stretch the usual amount of activation rate gained, or it could actually shrink it. All right. enough of that. Let's gonna go on. Damn those abs. Oh yeah, very happy. I don't know the relationship between these two besides. I guess they're. I don't know.
They were very important in the last Christmas event, I guess.
The one that isn't translated.
Yes, the one that isn't translated. This actually happened on the last event, and it was probably one of the favorite moments of a lot of people.
Really?
It's also the Naub AR. And it's probably one of this is actually probably a ship that formed from that event.
There's something a bit odd with Tetsuya's neck. It's just like 90-degree angle underneath or something. Also,
it was made by his artists, so I don't know.
It also looks like he's taking a giant nut, so make that with that what you will.
Yes, that is why this is the perfect AR. You should have this item available at all times, just like Milk said.
Someone crop it and make it an emote.
It's already cropped with the icon, but okay. I spent 2 tickets and got 2 times. Not sure what you're referring to, but I guess the previous unit, which was that, or was it Yasuyori? I don't know. Booba. Yeah, gotta get that Booba tea. What the heck is conflagration? It is something that only how do you not know? Come on, you have Tadatomo. You know about Azevo, don't you? That's also applied on Ifrit with Azevo as well. But yeah, conflagration gives is a debuff on the enemy where if they have it as well as burn, because conflagration is a conditional debuff that depends on the presence of burn, then you'll deal an additional 3,000 damage, and this is non-scalable, so it will apply even if they have something like nullify damage that multiplies damage by 0. It'll just be added on top of that, so you'll get like 3,000 on top. So it's nice in those cases, as some of you may know from one of my challenge quest videos. It kind of works like Spirit, except it's on the enemy instead of your allies. Percentage increase with the level of the AR, yeah. Burn strengthening, basically, yeah, kind of. I mean, it is burn strength combat, I don't know. Strengthening is such a crappy translation. I hope it's officially translated so we can switch out the term strengthening. It's dumb. 252 units on the sea. Yeah. Lulu is the unique to the enemies. How can you forget? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How are we looking at this AR before Aziz and Grandpa Dagon? Why are we looking at this AR? Oh. Well, this time I decided to sort it by non-Christmas content and Christmas content. And I also arranged sorting by like who is speaking. And we had it so that Irby and Zalgas will take one of the 5 stars each, and they would also take one of the 4 stars each, and so that left me with the remaining 4-star Choji that I wanted to take, and the only other Christmas content I could talk about to round it out was this AR. And to interleave our speaking order, I had to insert this AR here to make it consistent with the rest of the order from when we were speaking about the Christmas content. Anyways, details. I hope the new AR about Christmas will be coming soon. Yeah, an AR banner for Christmas would be pretty neat. Itzamna erasure, right? Alright, because the AR is boring me to get out of the way. Okay, more reason to leave it in. Put it in the beginning at the end. I think this AR can help Jamboree Eisen, I guess. Yeah, maybe. It depends. In situations where there's a lot of debuffs.
I think he removes enough, to be honest.
He removes 1 per turn. He removes it like 3 from everyone, but from himself he only removes 1, so it'd be decent on him. I know this Evo, of course. Okay. Wow, loser. Actually disappointing.
Conflagration isn't no longer unique to Tadatomo anymore. And Ifrit also has it.
I mean, they both use it pretty well. Tadatomo has to sacrifice a costing move, though. But it is at a nice range. Ifrit is blow range, so that makes it harder for him to actually land his on-hit conflagration spread. Have you never read the Debo and the whole deal about the best one? I'm not even gonna try to interpret what you mean by that. And something in chat. AR immune to fire. Alright, next unit.
Let's go.
Hello.
Alright.
It's my turn again.
Itzamna time, aka Musushu, except more anthropomorphized. Go ahead.
Okay, so we finally got another Scaly. Wow. Playable one anyway. So, you almost made me call him Mushizu. Itzamna has a he's another non-unit. He's got a pretty cool kit based around buff spreading. So on phase start, he gives himself a bunch of buffs. He gives himself defense up, glint, and concentration. And on turn start, he also gives himself tenacity and glint again. And when he misses, so basically every turn, assuming he hits the procs, he removes debuffs from allies around him, and he applies another party debuffs to himself. So he has a ton of defensive self buffs, and a few miscellaneous support buffs with glint and concentration. And the real interesting part of his kit is whenever he moves, he will spread all the buffs on himself to allies in a 2-square diamond radius around him, or adjacent for 3-star. So he'll copy all of his buffs to all of those allies in pretty fat range, and then he will remove his own buffs. So he's sacrificing his own buffs basically. He will also heal all of those allies and damage himself for flat damage. So again, sacrificing his HP. So that's pretty cool. The massive range of the buff spread, could you turn it to the 4-star please, because the 3-stars kind of there. Yeah, so the massive buff spread range is actually really useful for most of the units in this game. When they buff units, even if they do an AoE, most of them are one range, so either adjacent or a square around. So having someone able to spread it in a massive range of 2 square diamond makes it really flexible, because as long as Itzamna gets the buff, it means everyone else gets the buff. So I think that's useful, because of the sheer volume of buffs that he constantly gives out. He works well with anyone with after buff effects, so most of the units on this banner, everyone except what's his face dead, everyone on this banner gains something from buffs. Yasuyori, I think they all gain CP. I forget what
They all gain
CP. These gain
heal.
Yes. I forget if Choji does.
And apply the blessing, I think, or is it?
Ara, tell us about Choji.
Choji.
He applies blessing on phase start, doesn't he? And also on charged self.
Okay.
And allies like 60% or 40% on buff.
Yes. That's the use we needed.
Yeah, so Itzamna works well with anyone with, or most people with after buff effects, just because of how many he gives out. He can give out tenacity every turn if he moves, and he can frequently give out glint and nullify debuff, which is cool. So examples of those units that aren't on this banner are Jamboree Kagutsuchi and Hawkeye Kamui 5. There is an interesting quirk about it though, about the buff spread. So if Itzamna triggers one of the after buff effect skills that give a buff to Itzamna, Itzamna will not spread that, and he will remove it. So the example I tested was with Beach Chernobog, who gives unction to allies when he's buffed. Itzamna will make him trigger unction and gain. Itzamna will gain unction, and then he'll remove it from himself without spreading it. So keep that in mind. He won't benefit from after buff status buffs to him that go to Itzamna. He'll just remove it. Anyway, we can talk about CS2 because he charges it at a decent rate with his on-miss CP to self. It just removes debuffs in a 2-square radius, which is he already does that with his on-miss, but this does it in much wider range, so it's nice to have. He doesn't like miss out. I mean, I guess he misses out on the glint and nullify debuff, but it won't do much damage. So honestly, you probably don't want him to CS that much, but you can't really avoid it because of his CP on miss. Anyway,
Yeah.
Itzamna is a pretty good. Oh yeah. Sorry, I just read all the comments. I read all the comments.
Are you reading comments right now?
It's kind of hard not to when it's right there.
I mean, you're free to read out whenever you want. You don't have to wait until the end. Just
It's not really that important.
okay.
Wow. So Itzamna is a pretty good support unit. It's mostly defensive, but just because he can give out glint, he's one of the few units who can give out both glint and concentration at once. The only other units who can do that natively are Duo 5 and yeah.
3, 4.
I was trying to remember the name of the event. Gendam.
Army.
Gendarme.
Gendarme. Yeah.
Whatever.
Gender.
It's the gender theme.
Yeah, so he joins the ranks of the few units who can do that. Although he can't do it all the time because concentration is only phase start. So being able to spread his buffs in such a wide range is really quite useful, in my opinion. He has a interesting synergy with Kanan Tangaroa in specific. Kanan Tangaroa can spread buffs when he is hit at 70% rate. So what you can do is you can place Itzamna next to Tangaroa and have Itzamna spread all of his buffs to Tangaroa, and then have Tangaroa get hit and give all the buffs back to Itzamna, and now you have all the buffs Itzamna had on your entire party. So that's an interesting synergy to play around with for people who have them, who have both those characters.
The sharing is caring strategy, if you will.
As for
This is why I want Kanan.
You didn't get him in the end, did you?
I didn't.
Didn't you like not want him after? Like you're so.
Yes, I
it was
didn't
like
want...
it was the most dramatic change in tone for me. He's like, oh my god, he's like such a good unit, I want him. And then all of a sudden one day you're just like, he's too overpowered. I don't want him.
That was just me coping with the fact that I didn't get him.
Oh, for maybe the next Conor reboot.
Don't you have Amara?
I do. He's pretty special.
Do you have Itzamna 4?
I do.
Cool. There's your next video. Unless Abby wants to do it.
I don't know.
I mean, I think I still have my seeded Kanan Tangaroa on my support list. If they didn't delete that.
Oh no, you could do that too. So as for ARs, there are 2 that I can think of mainly. Valentine's Dogs for guts, to give Itzamna guts, and then he can spread that. But more interestingly, Oath of Binding, Arcs AR for prayer. He can spread prayer, so he's the only unit who can really get prayer onto everyone, which is a nice 10% skill activation rate for 6 turns. So combined, he can give 30% skill activation rate to in a big 2 diamond radius, which is actually kind of absurd.
What are the units he likes again? It was like Leaked and Z's.
Leaked and Z's, yes.
If you do it with regular Z's, you'll have like dramatically increase the guts self rate.
40% guts. I didn't actually look at that, but that could be interesting. But yeah, he can give.
Don't tell Gaskin.
You're going to make all the challenges.
But yeah, if you
Gonna
have
tickle it to
Valentine's
death.
Dogs or Oath of Binding, no, don't do that. Didn't someone say they did that a long time ago with Z's on one of the challenge quests?
Yes.
They just was it the brick one? I don't remember.
It was like
no, it wasn't.
well, yeah, guts is a very popular strategy for the one time they decided to do.
It was the festival one with where you had to survive 4 turns.
Yeah.
Oh great. Oh yeah, the Kusith.
It actually was pretty easy to do it with Z's and that challenge quest. You
Why
only
can I not talk today?
What?
I keep tripping over my words today. Milk just said the Kuchi Oniwaka AR is also pretty decent. I actually forgot to write that down. Yes, the Kuchi Oniwaka AR gives Reflect debuff on phase start, which he can also spread. Why didn't I write that down? I looked at it today. Why didn't I write it down? But yeah, so Itzamna is this buffing unit sacrificial buffing unit, I guess, who takes all of his buffs and just spreads them to all his allies. I think it's mainly useful for just how wide a range he can spread it in. He can also provide minor healing. Alright, something I didn't mention is he has freeze weakening. What freeze weakening does is it severely reduces his skill activation rate. It's 50%, was it?
50%.
So don't take Itzamna against freeze. Well, he nullifies debuffs, he's fine. But yeah, I think he's pretty unique. Just
Can't wait for the stack of freeze.
stacking freeze. will they actually remember to make him weak to that?
I don't know. Probably not.
Alright, since
yeah. I think that's cool.
Alright, why don't you read the rest of the comments out of the ones you haven't read already?
Sure. Where is it? AR immune to fire. I think. Yeah, that's where we were, right. Yasu, best unit, by the way. Best. He's doing it to us. Oh my god. Finally dragging Daddy, new husband. Grandpa. Hey everyone, do you think that AR can help in gameplay or not, in your opinion? If you mean the remove debuff one, whenever conflagration becomes relevant, it'll probably be useful. They did that once before, I believe.
Yes, they did it once. Oh,
Yeah,
once. And you could circumvent it through other methods, but the remove debuff part could be possibly useful depending on what missions come up. Like if we have like more of those survive until turn X, it could be useful for that.
Why don't you
that AR is
on T-Fun so that fucking your characters won't be paralyzed anymore from dungeons?
Hey, don't tell anyone that. Anyway, so yes, that AR, yes, it's niche. It has places where it can be useful. There you go. Itzamna the prayer bot. Yes, in fact, it's almost the pose that he's doing in his 4-star. He's almost praying. No, that's not what he's doing. Itzamna had to do it to
Please never ever say that again.
Except he's doing it to himself. Except Dead laughs in Milk's video. All the crafters have officially been power grabbed. Which one?
I'm not really sure that the version of Hephaestus yet.
I didn't hear any.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Don't have a better version of Hephaestus yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think regular Hephaestus is still pretty powerful.
Yeah, he's still pretty good. He provides a lot of various things: weakness, paralysis, crit, all that good stuff. A friendly reminder that Xmas C3 Cannon Tagura and Sanat spread buffs so you can reset buffs on Itzamna and recycle them, not to mention he also gives glint concentration like Duo. Yeah. I actually forgot about Sanat. I didn't bother mentioning Xmas C3 because I thought Cannon Tagura is much more interesting. Xmas C3 has to move as well, so there'll be lag time. But Cannon Tagura doesn't have to move. The issue is HP drop. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that you could consider pairing him up with someone who, like, people who heal for flat amounts, like...
You can also pair it with these that heals after receiving buffs. Wow.
Yeah, there's that. I actually can't... Like, there's like Ryota, Rolos, a lot of them have to move to do it, unfortunately. But there are definitely units who can heal Itzamna up, although he doesn't necessarily need to heal since he has such a wide spread range. You can place him safely behind units.
HP either.
Yeah, he has a really fat HP pool. You can use you can use combo Itzamna with everything. Yeah. He honestly goes well with a lot of people just because of the glint concentration. He's literally a better duo. I don't even recommend a duo's kit at this point.
Not entirely convinced on that because duo doesn't actually need to move, so duo superior still.
I'll always talk about duo like that, but yeah, I was about to say that, right? I've never used duo once. Then again, you have to bring in support. There's a lot of better supports at that point. He might be your worthwhile choice if you actually have him.
I am going to use duo now because I actually got him on this banner, so I have to actually use him now, and I'm glad that at least this dragon needs to move. That's just so my achievement wasn't for nothing.
If I wanted to use Duo, why wouldn't I just re-roll repeatedly? There you go.
They have a
Why would
point
you
though.
want to reroll? Why would you want to reroll?
Because I already do a lot. By the way, Arrow, why do we have the Chapter 11 video in the background sometimes?
No, those are just. We also have the.
Because it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I want to show Kiss Me One, and I also have been showing the original animation one that was from last anniversary or new anniversary, anyways. So I figured make it one of the default videos.
Fair enough. HP's not a big issue. He has 9,000 HP. Yeah, he a fuck ton of HP. He buffs himself with a defense buff. I didn't see it right there. Yeah, you can. He gives himself tenacity to every turn start. So. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention his rates. His rates are all really high. They range from 70 to 80, and the 70, which is his lowest one, is just on his CP and remove buff, which is not as integral to his kit. The rest of them range from 80 to 100. Yeah, 80 to 100. So his rates are all really good. Can be relied upon. Honestly, a decent candidate for skill seeding if you really want to. If you like him.
I don't know why everyone seems to like Itzamna's kit so much. I'm just like, but you have to move him, and he doesn't keep his buffs. So it's like he's basically like a dead unit himself once he moves.
Sorry, we can't all have seated Kotaro and Leanne.
Yeah, you better be sorry.
Defense up and tenacity buffing is pretty good as well. I mean, there's not a lot of defense up buffers out there that can do it.
You just
like
like
that on
Poku
demand.
Yeah,
I can, but his rates are kind of low for that.
Yeah, it's only like, what, 40-ish, I think? Something like that.
Yeah, but no longer because I'm actually going to finish this season next year. Yay!
Are you going to put him up? Or is he already up?
I'm probably going to put him up before I finish Soul. Because
Delicious.
following its 3 seats and we're probably getting another one from
Let's see, I'll buff ourselves up to 12k. Oh yeah, his HP. So basically another version of Lianan, or am I wrong? Yeah, quite wrong. Lianan is all about buffing a single unit for hyper offense. Itzamna just spreads a bunch of buffs, more like defensive and support buffs, to in a wide range, not in a single range, and he heals and kills himself, unlike Lianan, who kills her target. I guess it's kind of like antithesis almost. Well, not really, but I wouldn't really compare them to each other, since they kind of had different purposes. Lianan's about making one unit blow things
compare them
up.
at all, the heck.
I don't know, the buff spread, well,
one unit.
but it's not a good thing. But it's not good one thing that he uses his HP for gift buff for everyone follow him has in these. Sorry. The HP loss really isn't a big deal. He has a lot of HP and he can really just stay at a safe range with, like, he can, in a 3x3 square, he can literally sit at the back and he'll still be buffing almost everyone. So the only one who'll be able to hit him is shot units on the front row or sniper range units and magic range units on the front row. So he can play pretty safely, even if he's losing HP per turn. And if it's really a problem, you can just put in people who can heal him or give him defense buffs after he moves, like Daikoku. I want to put on the Kanan banner. TBH, I haven't rolled the Kanan banner. I did, and I'm happy to combine these two. Yeah, it's probably interesting too. I might test that later. Kuchi, only 1k is pretty decent, yeah. Thank you for mentioning that, Milk, because I actually forgot to write it down. If I get this guy, wish me luck. Should I use my 5 tickets on Christmas banner? I don't know, do you have anyone you want to chase?
He's asking you.
Oh, for Itzamna. Should use... I wouldn't say Itzamna is, like, essential or anything. If you like him, he has an interesting and unique kit to play around with. So, if you like him, then yeah, go for him.
It seems like
He's
everyone
a 4-star, so
has him as...
you don't have a abysmal.
I can't say that in that it seems like a lot of smart people have a high opinion about him. I personally don't really get the hype, but between Zargus and Irby and Milk and a lot of other
Say
people.
smart people.
Yeah, smart people.
That's just because you only care about all range strat memes with Kotaro.
Correction, I only care about the strategies that actually work. There you go. Alright, go on.
Itzamna already gives nullified debuff to self, so he can give 2 of them. With Oniwaka AR, he can give reflect debuff and nullify debuff. Yeah, that's actually could be interesting. I don't understand why he's non-weapon. He must. He has to be non-weapon because otherwise, it's best for him to be non-weapon, so he can get the glint, remove debuff, nullify debuff, or he can trigger his on-miss skills.
I mean,
always.
you say that, but it could have just been
like magic range. This would be super annoying to credit.
It could have just been on turn start in first place.
On hit. That would.
That would make his next thing more powerful, though, because that would mean he wouldn't have to worry about CSing, and I think that's what they were trying to balance around. Make him slightly weaker by letting him not get those when he CSs or something. I don't know.
This is the first non-range unit that doesn't seem hyper overpowered in a long time, so I guess they had to have eventually realized that they needed some units.
I think he's pretty strong. I don't see how you don't see how he.
He's okay.
How he.
He's okay.
Ara, weren't you the total man before all this?
You lost faith on the non-range. How dare you?
I never lost faith in non-range. He just didn't meet up to standards. Very high bar to pass, anyways. Alright, keep reading.
I thought you were the one who liked to do turtle strats, so he can help with that.
Can he? He can't turtle himself.
Yeah, but he can do it from a safe range.
Not really. I mean, he still has to be either in the front row or in the middle row, and that's still vulnerable to a lot of weapon ranges.
Well, you have Kanan Tangaroa.
Yeah. True. I guess. Yeah! I might try that, but we'll see.
We should probably continue because this is running
yeah, please do that.
Honestly, I'll just say one more thing. He's actually really good with Kanan Tangaroa because his spread buff actually isn't 100%, so that's pretty good that he bestows glints and concentration to Kanan Tangaroa to get his spread buffs to be more reliable.
Infinite prayer loop.
Yeah, if he has prayer, that's literally perfect for Tangaroa.
Itzamna teaches you how to pray in SMR because he's not supposed to tank, he's supposed to support his students by giving him his knowledge. He can't be more wholesome. Boy. Kanan Tangaroa and Itzamna forever have prayer up. Oh yeah, right there. Thank you, Lulu. Okay.
Zargus reads faster.
I did not see it on him. Sorry. Itzamna's my harsh history. I have Duo 2, but Cthulhu's Shrug. Itzamna's not the only dragon in the game. Ophion is. I don't care about Ophion. Dragons or lizards? Dragon had long mustache. Is it Fu Manchu? When I read a story makes me where is Dragonborn? Oh no, it's Samno.
Oh.
Dragonborn.
Oh no! That crit! No!
On miss apply crit.
We did it!
I thought his CP attack had weapon change. Also, I would like to mention about the bundling of skill timings to make his concentration not guaranteed. Phase start. His glint concentration are all in the same skill, so they all roll at the same time. So even if he gets glint, it does not apply to concentration at the same time. So he will always have that 90% rate.
Yeah, there's this important distinction when it comes to reading kits about the distinction between trigger timings and activation timings. Even though, like, you kind of say triggers and activates usually at the same time, casually they mean the same thing, but no, the trigger timing is at the same time for a glint and concentration, but the activation timing is like, it happens afterwards sequentially. And as August was saying, that's why the glint will not help the concentration be guaranteed. And that's also the same issue for Dead's kit in terms of why he won't be able to have a guaranteed abilities when he moves, because whenever Dead moves, he gets acceleration strengthening, but that also is like... Sorry, he gets acceleration, which then triggers acceleration strengthening, but that also pretty much only applies, is rolled at the same time as the other abilities like Ardor and Protection. So it's not guaranteed until the subsequent turns when acceleration is up. Not on the exact turn that acceleration goes up. It's the same reason. Skill bundling is a tricky subject to be aware of.
I mean, I didn't say it, but Milk said it, but okay. Ara, he's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
LifeWonders, give us an Arc 5-star AR banner, you cowards. Yeah, I would like that. I might actually pull on that because memes.
Only on 2023.
Really? We have to wait for the Ryota banner first, and then we have to wait for the Choji
And then
banner.
we have to wait for Choji one. Yes.
I don't want evasion. Crappy evasion.
60% evasion. Wow.
I actually want the Ryota one though. That's spicy 3000 HP.
It's alright. I have it. It's alright, I guess.
Okay, Z's time.
Alright, let's no longer dilly-dally and have Irby send us off.
Why does this have so many comments?
Because he talks slow and then they took it back.
No!
I'm sorry.
Oh my god, we got to the best female unit of the banner. We did it.
Isn't she the only female unit in the banner?
No one needs to know.
Straight up.
Ziz is really cool. Basically, what Ziz does that is really cool. She basically stole Behemoth's phase start, in a way, by allowing her to pull the entire enemy board by 1 square towards her on phase start at 80%. That's pretty good. She also has, when appearing, glint at 100%. So on the first phase at least, that attract will have a 90%, which is honestly pretty good. It's already better than Behemoth's anyways. It is unfortunate that the glint is only when appearing, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and sometimes only the first phase matters for the pull, anyways.
Yeah, she's one of the only units. There are a couple of units that can buff with vigor consistently throughout the phase. She is a good renewable source of vigor, pretty much. She only needs to attack her units, and she has a 70% chance to apply vigor left and right, and to herself as well, which also makes her hit pretty hard after the first unit. Another reason why she hits pretty hard is that she also has a 70% chance of applying Dazzle, which she deals extra damage to as well, which is also pretty neat. She also has after buff gain 6 CP to self and 200 HP to nearby allies at 70% left and right. Her CS makes her long range and gives her combo. And what she does for each hit, she will attract at all range 1 square towards her. So pretty much, if she uses her CS, she will literally pull everyone to the ground.
Range, yeah. And will also apply weakness on the units she hits, as well as attack again because she triggered combo on herself, and she will have an additional chance to reapply vigor if it's gone, or apply dazzle to the recently pulled units to her range, which is honestly pretty neat. Or apply charm.
And charm as well. I didn't talk about that yet, but she has a 40% chance of apply charm to the units behind those that she hits. So basically the second row in front of her. Honestly, it's okay. I don't think the charm is necessary, to be honest. Every time I see charm in these kits, I immediately dismiss it. It is a very high chance for charm
40% is pretty good,
50%
especially
on
since
turn 1.
it's 50% on turn 1. Yeah. Wow, amazing. But yeah, it is pretty high, and if you really want that charm, I guess it can be useful.
It reminds me of Ellie's sort of ability to hold units in place behind, except instead of holding them, she like.
Except that Z's doesn't really have a purpose to be charming the units behind them.
I think it's just like, there's a good chance that she's actually pretty strong herself, and she can like make the enemies quite weak with, vigor to allies adjacent to her. So there's a good chance that the front row would be just deleted instead of being able to take advantage of it. So it's like a good way to like debuff the remaining enemies with something significant.
True. She charges her CP pretty fast, considering she has the after buff CP. So if you pair her with units that bestow buffs, she's going to be spamming her CS reasonably fast, to say the least. And she'll be able to keep pulling the units over and over again to her range, which honestly makes her synergize well with units with short range. By being Implorer herself, units that are, for instance, flash range or thrust range will really pair up well with her puller row. She also has some moderate disruption. I don't know why. Maybe I'm looking at an earlier version of the sheet where I said she was a mixed support, but I think she's actually more of an offensive-oriented support.
You have it written on the sheet here on the actual slideshow I'm showing right now. Yeah, you've written down offensive support.
So I gave you the updated version.
Yeah.
She can deal some pretty good damage because of that dazzle advantage and the figure application.
Mm-hmm.
She's also immune to one of the most annoying debuffs, in my opinion, in the challenge quests, which are Drain and Obstruct. It's actually worth mentioning, I think, because
they usually come in pairs, yeah. And when they are,
yeah, they are annoying, and they can really shut down a lot of units, or all the units at once if you have shitty luck, and even if they are fully seated. And if you have shitty luck, that is just going to ruin everything in your plans. The ARs, I recommend pairing her up with. Honestly, the Kurogane Amatsumara AR are pretty good because
really
because it's going to bestow her buff every turn, so she's always going to.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So she's always going to benefit from that. And she was also going to heal every turn 200 HP to nearby allies. So that's a pretty good AR that I thought that could work pretty well with her.
Yeah, I completely forgot that that's an AR that reliably bestows a buff every turn.
The most efficient AR. Yeah, it is a pretty good AR for her. Other ARs I thought about were the Shino and Moritaka ones, where that help her get her CS a little bit faster and help her get her second pull a lot faster. And the other two are mainly just because they also give some extra buffs every turn. The Silent AR can give her guts for the first 3 turns, and the Sutra AR can give her crit plus. Crit plus can actually be okay, I guess, if you want her to really deal. If you want that really good DPS, the DPS is that Gascan really dreamed of this year at last.
Between Z's and Dead, it seems they're kind of like making a new way of making slash units play well as slash units. Kind of being able to reach far range if they with Dead's case, or being able to just be real good with front row and immobile, like somehow disrupting the rows behind. So I kind of like the direction you're going with these slash units.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Milk. I think I remember putting the Kurogane Amatsumara AR near Yikunari's potential on the I forgot his name on the Kagutsuchi sheet I made, but honestly, I don't have it with me anymore, unfortunately. But I think I put it there. It is a pretty good AR for these units that have after buff. It's probably one of the better ARs for every unit that can exploit these after buff effects.
One of these days, the Umamichi AR will be useful on a unit that has an after debuff effect from that charm.
Oh right, I forgot to mention something. It is unfortunate that she cannot equip a Dazzle exploitation AR because she actually does apply Dazzle when attacking, so she could actually benefit from it, but unfortunately she can't equip any of them. Only
Alice is allowed to benefit from it, don't you know? And Kuniyoshi apparently.
But yeah, that's. Oh, I forgot to mention she has extra horizontal movement, but she doesn't really need to move, so it's kind of there. Okay.
Oh, I actually forgot Well, I can't forget whatever knew in the first place. How do I not note that? Does she actually? Let me just switch back to the previous page.
Yeah, she does have her extra movement.
Yes, she does. Yeah, just like
It's just because she has wings or something. It doesn't really matter. She doesn't need to move at all for it to work.
I just think that works really well for slash range units. Because it's like they want to reach out to the edges, but that often means at the expense of your team positioning. With that extended movement, you don't have to worry about your team positioning being ruined as much. So yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's all my thoughts on it.
All right, Zalgus, any other thoughts on this?
Not really, but I'm still just wondering why they made her unable to use the bloody Dazzle ARs. There's so many units on this banner have just mismatched types when they would have been perfect for one of the ARs. It's just why.
Alice.
I was really disappointed when I was making my notes for these to find out that there wasn't actually a Dazzle exploitation AR for her, which is like, damn! Finally, this was going to be relevant, but no.
I mean, she already has Dazzle exploitation, so no need to be greedy.
She can have more.
You're a greedy bunch. All right.
By the way, you talked about charm weakening for debuff. Does it actually count as a debuff?
It used to count as a buff, but I believe it was updated, so now it counts as a debuff now.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because I recall last time we covered it, we said it was covered or a buff internally, which made no sense.
Yeah, but yeah, I believe it was updated. Anyway, Irby, if you will, read out the rest of the comments.
Okay. Zeus. I want.
Of course.
It is a good meme, and I am very ashamed that I forgot to add it to add the Zeus emote to this sheet. I am very ashamed. Forgive me for not putting it.
Don't worry. You saved the internal file as Zeus, so I know you meant what you meant.
I want that muted to Zizzy making Zal talk forever ASMR.
No, my voice is very burning.
Oh, my waifu. Oh, she has the same CP attack skills like Suzuka, but different same combo CP attack buff, but different skill attacks. Yeah, I guess she has combo on CS like Suzuka. Oh no, does Suzuka have combo on CS? Yes, she does. She does, doesn't it? Or is it odd move?
I don't think she.
I forget as
move,
well.
But she might have one after charge. I forget, honestly.
Yeah, it makes sense. Hello again. Z's CP attack weapon changes to long slash. Suzuka's same as long slash. Oh yeah, that. To be honest, I prefer her charm because that applies charm at long slash, but those units usually already be dead. It just does it on behind, where sometimes enemies get evasions like with theirs. Yeah, I don't really consider charm a real debuff, so that's why I kind of just not consider it at all in my reviews at all, because like, come on, most of the times charm is going to be useful. It's not going to be useful because the enemies will be immune to it.
for getting Kurogane, Amatsumara, AR, Nirunai, alright, I already heard this. That was at Ara. Yes,
Oh.
Ara, how could you forget this potential? How could you forget
Well,
about
it's
this amazing AR?
it's more like they're invisible buffs. Okay, I just forgot. Like
I can't believe everyone doubted my thoughts on this AR, and now it's becoming probably one of the better ARs to equip on these
Did
all,
we die?
all these after buff units. Yes, I think you did. I remember hearing you say that this
I'm
AR
pretty sure
this
I
AR
was doubting the other one on the banner, which was the Arslan Sab one.
No, those were on different banners, I think.
Were they? Okay, maybe I'm
This
just
one,
having a trip.
yeah. Buffering moment. Luther says, "Oh no, it was buffering."
It's not. He's just fucking lying. Luther.
Maybe she should be the unit used with Kanan Tagoroa Itzamna. Probably not yet. Kanan Tagoroa already kind of has vigor, but even though it's not renewable, but he still already has the vigor. But it could work because his spread will trigger diseases after buff effects as well. How many stars do you get for benefits? What? How many stars do you get to her about benefits out of 10?
I think she's like.
I don't know.
Oh, he's asking for a
What?
ranking.
I think she's pretty good. I'm not going to rate her anything, but I think she's one of the better units of the banner, at least.
In the very least, she definitely makes drop quests a lot easier than the other event units do comparatively. Not to say that the other ones don't really help as much, but her ability to make it much faster is kind of very noticeable.
And having a renewable source of vigor at a really good chance without having the need to move is also pretty good. Yeah, you're right, Luther. Sorry if I can see your replies. It's still buffing. And that is pretty much it.
Okay. Okay, it's Christmas. I'm gonna go stuff myself like a turkey and wake up until New Year's or something.
It's only the 20th.
Sorry? What? Oh, wait.
It's only the 20th.
It'll be there eventually. It's Christmas week!
Yeah, it's only the 20th.
You don't even know when people
It's
say
Christmas
they
week.
leave. It's like
Christmas.
whatever. I'm tired.
What do you mean? What do you mean, Ara?
I mean, I'm probably gonna work for a while for the rest of the chapter videos, and then I'll probably just do nothing for a long period of time. I guess we could play League after this or something. All right, thank you for joining. Yeah, awesome. Thank you for joining us, everyone. It was surprisingly a fairly quick stream, despite the amount of content that we were covering. So, tried and true, we can actually get things through quickly. Hooray! Let's give ourselves a round of applause.
I can't clap at the
Did
same
it.
time because I have to push to talk.
Yeah, same. I can't clap, but I can clap my desk, I guess. I did it.
Did you hear that? That was the sound of Kirby's cheeks clapping.
Oh, God.
Alright. Okay, thank you for joining us, everyone. I hope you have a happy holiday. You can find Irby's channel as well as August's in the description. Any remarks on the content you'll be posting soon, guys?
Probably challenge. Yes.
I hope the CQs actually are challenging, because then I can brag and laugh when people struggle and fail.
No.
But I hope the common units that people use aren't usable in these challenge quests. That's all I hope for.
I can't wait for the salt that everyone will give for, like, oh, why are you leveling 3 stars? You should only level 4 and 5 stars. And little did they know.
All I just hope is that the support can't carry the whole team.
Well, for the first one, what's the first attribute restriction? It's like, it's not water, so it can't be Leonin. Leonin is like gonna be the last one. It's either
Is it Aether or something?
yeah,
Aether or Fire.
there's not that much carry units for those that can work just by themselves. Like Envari is pretty strong, but can he clear challenge quests by themselves?
I mean, I did it. Remember?
It depends on the challenge quest. I'm not saying it's not possible, but like.
I mean, but fire, it's pretty easy to clear with just fire units, to be honest. Every unit is fucking fire this year.
From sheer abundance, you have options. I would still say water is the best choice, but fire has a lot of choice to go through.
Every new banner this year had fire units on it. It's disgusting, and I hate it.
You can even say every banner was fire.
No, you can't.
No, that was terrible.
Aren't they going to do a CQ where that forces you to use the extra elements only?
Oh, right. I hope we get a Valiant-only challenge quest.
We don't have enough, I think.
Why must you spite me for being correct,
We
Irby?
have a lot. It's a lot better with Valiant because there's a lot of 4-star Valiant units, so they're a lot more accessible to people.
I guess. We have a number of free unit choices as well too, but I doubt they'll do it. I mean, I doubt they'll do that because they haven't even released quotas for rare attributes. There's no way that they do it for challenge quests too.
Well, that's because there aren't quests where we can reliably farm Valiant enemies and world enemies.
That sounds like a LifeWonders problem that they should fix.
Yeah, because the Valiant farm quests, daily quests, are just like random elements and just camo is Valiant, I think, or something like that.
Trash. Okay, I'll just super read out comments, and then for real, he's landed. So I'll end this claim. For our unit moment, all units only CQ. All units only. Isn't that your favorite thing, Irby? All range charge only. I was already doing that anyways. Ironically, the water unit is the only one that burns. Yeah, scalding or something. Pug. Valiant unit only is gonna be a long tanky fight.
Everyone is going to have to use Teda or Tida or however you pronounce it to take those challenge quests.
You could use Valiant. You could use Jamboree Mori too.
Maybe I'll actually use your Zabanya for once. Okay, for realsies, thank you for joining us, everyone. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Bye. Okay.